The co-main event of the evening, a professional 145-pound championship bout. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner, he's the reigning defending Sparta Combat League 145-pound champion. Please make welcome Justin J. Train Gonzales.
Well, here we are, JR, the co-main event of the evening. Justin J. Train Gonzales against Drew Brokenshire. This should be one heck of a featherweight matchup.
Couple of the premier fighters in the nation. Both these guys looking to make a step up toward the UFC. And believe me, there's a lot of eyes on this fight.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Justin J. Train Gonzales walking to the ring right now, had a perfect 18-0 amateur record, walks into this fight with a perfect 7-0 professional record, has finished his last 3 fights, is on an amazing winning streak. It's setting itself up to be a great, great story if he can pull this fight off.
Just does not know how to lose, most literally. Former IFL fighter Ryan the Lion Schultz in his corner, helping take care of coaching duties out of Trials MMA. J Train, as the fight fans say, choo choo.
Yes, they do. And it just keeps rolling most of the time. Haven't seen him in the ring since, I believe, Cheyenne, Wyoming, I think was the last time we saw him in the ring, and he made quick work of his opponent. So let's see what he does in this fight. This is a 5-round professional fight.
Sparta Combat League title on the line, I do believe. Referee Tom Johnson, final check over the safety equipment.
J-Train gonna make his way into the ring, and he's just, it's hard to find a good word. He's very, I'd call him slick. He's good on the stand-up, he's good on his feet, he's good on the ground, you know, and he's just sneaky.
It's hard to put him into a position where he doesn't
and
look
now,
okay.
Fighting out of the blue course, shooting center blue corner, please make welcome the challenger, Drew the Eternal Fire Brokenshire.
Drew Brokenshire making his way to the ring, and I don't think it's an understatement saying this is going to be the toughest fight of both of these young men's careers.
Agreed.
Drew Brokenshire, a couple years the elder at 32 to Justin's 27. Justin has a 1-inch height advantage at 5'9" to 5'8", both at 145. Justin, 9-0 as a professional. Yes. Brokenshire coming in at 16-6. And this is a fight, JR, that could definitely catapult the winner into a UFC-type contract.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, a lot of eyes on this fight. These guys, a couple of top in the nation in their weight class, and there's a lot on the line here for both these fighters. Brokenshire some last-minute instructions from his corner.
Referee Tom Johnson doing the field down, making sure there's no extra Vaseline or anything anywhere on the fighter, and then we're going to get underway with this co-main event of the evening. Justin J-Train Gonzales versus Drew Brokenshire. We are ready for some fireworks.
The co-main event of the evening is presented by The Dab by Next Harvest. It is time to meet the professional 145-pound championship fighters. First, fighting out of the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner, representing Top Notch Sports Academy and Trials MMA from Greeley, Colorado. Please make welcome the reigning, defending Sparta Combat League 145-pound champion, Justin J-Train Gonzales.
You can hear it. Gonzales always brings a large contingent
and
of
now,
fans.
fighting out of the blue course, shooting center blue corner, from Ludasport in Tacoma, Washington, the challenger, Drew, the Eternal Fire Brokenshire. This professional 145-pound championship bout is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Referee, Oscar Martinez.
Brokenshire, we'd have to say, coming into hostile territory here in Colorado, because like he said, Gonzales, a local state favorite here, representing Trials MMA and Top Notch MMA.
And Brokenshire having the same issues that J-Train has in town here, having a hard time finding fights in Washington, has got to go out of state to get good matchups. And I'm excited for this fight. I expect this first round to actually be a little slow, a good feeling out process. Both these guys are very experienced professionals, going to just try to figure out what the other game plan is.
Yeah, Brokenshire with 22 fights on his pro record. That doesn't even speak of his amateur career. So
Yep.
Brokenshire immediately throwing up the knee guard here as he has his back against the cage. He'll shut down some of the striking options of Mr. Gonzales.
A good knee by Brokenshire as well. Great stabbing knee from off the cage.
Gonzales goes to work with some body strikes.
And Gonzales is a wrestler at heart as well. A great elbow coming off the cage.
The top.
Good right hand by J-Train. But neither of these guys are going to get rattled. Both so experienced. Nice and calm. Eating a shot. Say, okay, that was good. What can I throw back?
Well done. How can I answer? Yeah, Brokenshire took that elbow well, no doubt about that. And again, good job with the knee strikes by Brokenshire. I think we have a favorite technique of the Washington fighter.
I believe so as well. And he does keep trying to shoot. And Justin's wrestling is sneaky, sneaky good. So you're going to have to be careful. And when you do get into the ground, he's just as good on the ground as he is standing up.
It's really difficult to win a scramble against Gonzales. There's no doubt about that.
Both guys have over-unders right now, just kind of working for a good position. I do like how Brokenshire brings that knee up and puts it in Gonzales' hip. All that does is kind of prevents that knee attack from Gonzales. It's one less thing Brokenshire has to worry about when he's up against the cage.
And something that Brokenshire is doing is, even with that knee elevated, he drops it down just a little bit, and then before it touches the ground, he fires it off as a knee strike. I've not seen that before.
Yeah, very slick. Something that I'm sure he's been practicing. I'm sure he's been studying film.
And again on the separation, Gonzales firing.
Nice duck. Little head kick by Brokenshire.
Good uppercut.
It's something that both of these guys are going to have to do is throw multiple strike combos. So both these guys they're seasoned professionals. You're not going to land one strike and finish this fight. You're going to need to set it up. Interesting position right now for Brokenshire.
Almost had back control. Well, actually still working and trying to work a crucifix from the backside.
Yep, Gonzales doing a good job of trying to control the legs. If you get that slipped out, he'll be in a good spot. Not out of danger completely yet. And there we go. He gets his arm slipped out. Now he can kind of start to work his own thin, believe half guard. Nope. Brokenshire manages to pull full guard. Doing a good job at trying to control the head, control the arms, not letting J-Train posture up.
And Brokenshire with his guard closed.
Both of these guys are comfortable on the ground, so I wouldn't look to see either of them freak out or anything like that. Justin's going to keep trying to work to pass.
Here's a possible opportunity to open up with ground and pound, and Gonzales goes with exactly that. Back to guard goes Brokenshire.
Throws a good elbow.
Brokenshire keeping his, well, I was going to say keeping his guard open now. The thing with the closed guard, it helps control your opponent a little bit better, but you're not able to affect any offense with a closed guard. So you're not going to sweep, you're not going to throw up a submission.
Yeah, Brokenshire right there tried to throw an arm bar and didn't quite get it, which allowed J-Train to kind of stand up and throw a couple bombs. Now right back down into guard.
Both these guys really composed here. You know, even as the top fighters, sometimes you'll see somebody start to go a little crazy and blow out too much energy, empty their gas tank trying to finish it here just because they have a good position.
Yeah.
None of that from Gonzales.
And Brokenshire's in a good spot. He's in his corner, so he's able to sit there and listen to his coach. You know, their coaches are able to see what's going on. But J-Train definitely keeps the pressure on, keeping him up against the cage, throwing some knees.
Ooh, and a nice kick out of the leg by Brokenshire.
Just sneaky good. Everything's just a little sneaky
So
with
true,
Justin.
so true.
Pull his hips out. Pull his hips away.
What Justin's going to look to do is try to pull Brokenshire's hips out from along the cage. You see him trying to underhook the knee. Just wants to get him pulled out just a little bit so he can get into a mount position. Got 10 seconds left. Looks like we're going to finish this on the ground.
And Brokenshire, with his back against the cage, has more opportunities for coming back to standing. Another reason that they'll try to pull those hips away from the cage.
And it was a great finish to the round. It was a real even fight leading into that, second half of the round. J-Train able to reverse that takedown, get top position. Good way to finish out. J-Train probably takes round one. I don't know. What do you think, JR?
I'm in agreement with you. Controlled position for the majority of the time. It was pretty even in the striking, but when they were standing against the cage, again, it was Gonzales that was controlling most of the positioning.
And Brokenshire was the one pushing for the takedowns in that round. If I'm in his corner, I'm telling him, stay back, throw your punches. You were doing well striking with him. Don't roll around, don't expend too much energy. Pick some shots and see if you can't land a clean one, and then shoot your takedown if you've got the shot.
Whistle sounded to get the corner man out.
About to start round 2 of 5 in this featherweight matchup.
Checking out the replay there, where for momentarily Brokenshire had back control by virtue of a crucifix position. And I'll tell you, there's a Wyoming fighter named Nick Mamalis, and I swear he's the doppelganger of Brokenshire. He's a smaller fighter. I think he fights a 135, but oh my gosh, do those two look similar, and the way they hold themselves in their fight stance too.
Yeah, that was a nice inside leg kick there by Gonzales, and Brokenshire has actually switched his stance up a little bit. He's going southpaw on this one. In the first round, I noticed that too. He actually moved pretty seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw.
Ooh, good knee came in there. Gonzales was maybe thinking about changing levels for a takedown, and the knee met him on his way in.
Yep, Gonzales comes in again and gets the clinch, doing the same thing he was doing in the first round, bringing that knee and shin up into the hip of Gonzales, trying to prevent those knees. And that also, he can push off a little bit, get a little bit of space. To your point in the first round, in order to bring that leg down and come back up with a knee, you have to push off a little bit to make that space, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing a good job of it.
And the other thing it does is, talking about that space, is it allows him a little room to move his hands. If he doesn't have the overhook or the underhook that he wants, he has a little bit of space in between their chests in order to adjust his hand position.
There you go. Okay, don't walk. Don't.
Gonzales goes ahead and just backs off. Very comfortable with his striking. He's going to come back and establish octagon control. Good combo by Brokenshire. And a big takedown.
Oh.
But Brokenshire is able to slip out. Let's see if
Going for the
see if
armbar
Gonzales
is
can sneak out the back door. Looks like he's actually got a Kimura locked in right now. J-Train doing a good job of keeping his knee up there, so that's what's preventing Brokenshire from being able to get that out right now. Let's see if Gonzales can sneak out.
Yep, able to get his head through, and that's exactly what he needed to do.
Here we go.
And it was a really nice setup for the takedown. It just he ended up kind of pulling Brokenshire over on top of himself.
Yep.
But making good advantage of the situation now, and like he talked about, grabbing around those legs, trying to pull those hips off the cage, see if he can't get his opponent a little more flat. That shuts down some of the stand-up opportunities that Brokenshire would have.
Yep, and that was a very good switch of position. Brokenshire was in a great spot, but Gonzales just able to sneak out the back door on that one.
Good job underneath with wrist control by Brokenshire, not only keeping the arm from looping around for the choke, but also keeping Gonzales from being able to pull his hand back and grab any real super effective strikes.
And the one thing that Gonzales does so well is with his hips. He keeps his hips centered. He's not all the way up on the shoulders. He's not all the way down on the hips. He really leaves Brokenshire no way out right now. And he's just trying to work in a choke. And he's got his hand around the head.
Had that right arm through, but not under the chin.
Brokenshire felt it, decided to go back to his back to see if he could get out of it. He does, but still not in a great position.
And like you said, experience. I mean, that's, you know, if you're going onto your back here that you're putting yourself into a bad position, but it's not necessarily a worse position than being threatened with the choke.
Right. Neither of these guys are going to freak out in positions like that. They're too seasoned.
Nice job with a couple of hook punches there by Gonzales.
Gonzales doing a real good job of staying busy in this position. I mean, a lot of times you see guys that get in this spot, they just try to lay on them, buy some time. Gonzales staying busy, throwing punches, and then after those punches, looking for a submission attempt.
Gonzales staying real calm here. He's got about a minute left to work in this round.
And this
he's just kind of piling it up, just accumulating little bits of damage here and there, threatening with different things, not letting Brokenshire know what is it that might be coming next. Might it be a punch? Might it be a submission attempt? Might I try to change positions on you, etc.
Yep, and this is a 5-round fight. You got to remember that. So Gonzales not expending a lot of energy right now on the top. A great knee to the ribs by Gonzales, but Brokenshire trying to fend all this off is expending energy. So this could come into play in rounds 4 and 5 if it makes it there.
Gonzales getting some big punches in here. As you alluded to, that was a big knee strike that he landed. That's what caused Brokenshire to turn. And he, offered up his head for some strikes there.
And if you notice, every time Brokenshire scoots out, immediately Gonzales reaches under that close leg, pulls him back in a little bit closer to get into that position. Just like we were talking about in that first MMA fight, position over submission. And that's exactly what Gonzales is doing right now. That was a great technical round by Gonzales.
So if you're in the corner of Brokenshire, what are you saying to change up?
I am telling him to quit clinching. Brokenshire needs to stand out. Justin is just as dangerous on his feet. There's no doubt about it. But clearly he has the upper hand right now in the ground game. Brokenshire has got to change his game plan. He's going to have to stand and exchange strikes with Gonzales, land some damaging punches, and then shoot the takedown if he wants to.
And we're checking out the replay here. This is where Gonzales is able to do some really nice work from the top. Had a position here for a moment where he could fire off some really hard shots. Some of the best punches of the fight landed right there for Gonzales.
And Brokenshire was in a very awkward position there at the end. He actually had his right foot over his head, and Gonzales was sitting on it. So Brokenshire had really no way to get out of it. Some great punches there on the replay landed. Getting ready for round number 3, which would typically be the last round for these guys, but it is a title fight. We're going 5 rounds.
5 rounds it is. Referee Oscar Martinez makes sure everybody's got their protective gear in order.
Gonna have to dig deep. Looks like Gonzales says there's some liquid in his corner. Doesn't look like it's bothering him, though. They're gonna come out and fight. Good right hand by Gonzales.
A little bit of swelling around the left eye of Gonzales. Doesn't look like a cut or anything real dangerous for him there.
And I think now Brokenshire, I think he's got the right game plan right now. Try to keep at a distance, try to pick his shots.
And right there, you saw him. He had a chance to close in, and he didn't take it. So I think you're right. Maybe his corner was in his ear. Don't get into a clinch with this guy.
Yep, that was a good call. And right back into the clinch as we're saying it. He does land some good knees, but Gonzales still has the upper hand here. He's got the underhook, reaching for the leg. He's got a single leg at the moment.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers of bringing that leg and that shin up for that blocking technique is you're basically giving your opponent a single leg. Single leg can be very difficult to finish in MMA, but if you got the skills, like we just saw, it can happen for sure.
That was a beautiful single leg, and you saw Justin grab that heel and yank Brokenshire out into the middle, and then they just tree-topped him, is what they call it. Lifted that leg up, dumped him straight over, and landed in side mount. That was a beautiful takedown. Brokenshire did a good job, though, to shrimp back into guard. Got the butterfly guard in right now, which allows him a lot of options. He just hasn't had a chance to work many submissions up to this point.
Couple of armbar attempts earlier and gives up on the butterfly hooks in favor of feet on hips, showing that he, maybe going to try to push Gonzales away. Brokenshire ate a couple of hard punches in the second round, but as a general rule has kept himself fairly safe on the ground.
Yeah, he stayed fairly clean. A big right hand rained down, and that might have opened a cut under Brokenshire's left eye. There's some blood coming down. It was a great shot, another big right hand. I think J-Train is smelling a little blood right now. Let's see if he turns it on or if he lets this stand back up.
Yeah, starting to feel it, definitely. Trying to pass the legs, trying to do a throw bypass. Brokenshire looks to roll, tired of taking those punches to the head. But again, it's a bad place to be with Gonzales because we saw what great back control he had throughout almost the entirety of the second round.
And just going back to it again, I know I've said it multiple times, but the hip positioning of Gonzales is what's preventing Brokenshire from being able to get out of some of this stuff. Nice knee to the thigh. Very underutilized technique. Not a lot of people think about that, but that knee is just as hard as a leg kick, if not worse.
Brokenshire looking to get tricky, roll through, wants to have the knee bar here. Gonzales not going to let it happen. He's going to try to plant his right knee down and then go to work with ground and pound.
Yep, in a very awkward position. I don't know if I'd call this half guard or not. Into side guard is Gonzales, and let's see if he can slip into mount from here. Brokenshire, you're trying to use the cage to get up and about, but
knee on belly for Gonzales now. Oh, that's just such a tiring position.
Yeah, it is. And trying to step over into mount. Brokenshire did a good job of preventing that, but Justin raining down some punches right now with a minute 40 left.
You talked about position before submission. What Gonzales is doing here is he's threatening position in order to set up ground and pound.
Yes.
He's saying, hey, I'm either going to punch you from here or I'm going to go to a better position. Either way, I don't care which it is that you give me, but that's what I'm going to, but, you know, I have given myself options. Corner Gonzales calling for some elbows. Postured back up again, that hip positioning. You got your hips, your shoulders, your chest, all above your own or above your opponent. Makes it very difficult for them to stand, and then he stands. Nicely done, Mr. Brokenshire, because that's not easy to do. Well done, sir.
Justin doing a good job of keeping pressure on him. Brokenshire with that leg up again. Let's see if Justin tries to go back to that high top single, or if he's just content staying here for the last minute and just staying clinched. Clearly won this round.
Yep, 30 seconds left to go.
A nice elbow from Gonzales, but right after that elbow lands, a nice stabbing right knee from Brokenshire, who's showing a lot of heart. This guy's not going to give up.
Yeah, you know, the amount of experience that he brings into the cage, he certainly had to have weathered some storms at some point, and doing exactly that here this evening.
Let's go back to the replay here. Kind of get the recap on the round. Another thorough round for Justin J. Train Gonzales. And I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't see this fight playing out to this point as one-sided as it has been so far. But we're moving into championship rounds. We've got 2 more 5-minute rounds left. Anything can happen. Definitely, we've seen a couple of comebacks so far tonight.
Yes, indeed. So still plenty of time for Brokenshire to do work. Here's the single
Here's that
leg.
high top single,
We
just
talked
lifts
about
it over his head.
Toppling the tree. Hard to keep your balance when your big toes over your nose.
Yep. And I liked the way Brokenshire started that last round, but he is the one that initiated the clinch again. He's got to stay out of that. I mean, at least up until this point, Gonzales has had the upper hand in the clinch and the ground game. I think he needs to try to do some striking, land some damage on his feet.
Yeah, and at this point, he's just shown, hey, I've got the control when it's at this point, so.
But neither of these guys, both these guys look fresh. Brokenshire is definitely not slowed down, moving around, still switching from southpaw to orthodox stance. A good right body shot by Gonzales.
And some blood coming out of the scalp of Brokenshire. I hadn't noticed that during the round, but you can see it on the left side, so.
And Gonzales landed one clean elbow up there, and I almost wonder if that's not what opened that up.
Brokenshire, really nice job with his read when Gonzales is going to try to shoot. He's bringing up techniques that are really discouraging on that. We saw a knee land earlier. There he tried to throw the kick up as it looked like Gonzales was going to be able to close in.
And I think this is Brokenshire is trying to stand a little bit more. Gonzales is perfectly happy here. I don't see him trying to shoot and take him down. So if Brokenshire is going to come back, this is the way to do it.
Talked about how both guys, oh, nice step in elbow there for Gonzales. You talked about how both guys look nice and fresh, and man, not a deep breath being taken.
Gonzales, the big head kick and the takedown, but he lands in a spot where he could pull a triangle. If he can get his leg out, he's got the arm.
Left leg free.
Brokenshire slips out, and Gonzales stands right back up. That was a beautiful head kick. It landed well. Just Gonzales a little bit off balance and falls down. Beautiful.
Nice outside leg
stepping.
trip.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Right down into side control, and the problem now is Brokenshire's in the middle of the mat. He's not against the cage. He doesn't have that cage to work off of. This could be a little bit more dangerous for both fighters, though. Now might alleviate some of that pressure for Brokenshire and allow him to pull some submission attempts.
Brokenshire trying to get on a hip, wants to try to bring his right leg through. It's past one leg of Gonzales, but Gonzales not at all unhappy with this position. He can just sit down on that leg and basically with his lower body mostly control the hips of Brokenshire.
Gonzales doing a good job of trying to control that left arm of Brokenshire. Brokenshire does finally get to full guard. He's been working for that for about 30 seconds. Finally gets it pulled. Let's see if he can't work something off his back here.
The nice thing about what Gonzales was doing with pinning his opponent's wrist to the cage is that means your opponent can't grab your wrist, try to feed it through for a triangle, which was one of the options that Brokenshire had there had he been able to control the wrist.
Yes, and Gonzales trying to posture up and just throw some punches from there.
Again, we can see a little blood coming out of the left side of the scalp of Brokenshire, but it doesn't, it's not putting big stains on the mat. It's not dripping, so it doesn't seem to be anything of real major significance.
Yep, and I think if I'm Gonzales here, I might step back and let Brokenshire stand up. He was landing some great combos on the feet.
Brokenshire with the body lock here, has one butterfly hook. Sometimes you'll try to sit back, use that butterfly hook to sweep your opponent over, and Gonzales used a whizzer in order to shut that down.
And posturing up again, just trying to rain down some punches now. Minute 15 left in round number 4.
little bit of slowing of the attack pace from Gonzales. He has his right arm all the way underneath Brokenshire, going to try to pull that free. Then we'll probably see him start to go to work with some more ground and pound.
Yep, stands up again. Got to be careful of those up kicks. Those are extremely dangerous. They don't land frequently, but if they do, that can put somebody's lights out.
Quick transition to the heel hook attempt there. Well done by Brokenshire, but Gonzales spins through, gets his weight down, and then big punches.
Landed some good punches, good elbows here from this position. But Brokenshire able to sweep back into, well, half butterfly guard now. Let's see if Gonzales can't capitalize on this and maybe take mount.
A few seconds left.
And we are going to make it to the 5th and final round.
And again, just, significant positional dominance for Gonzales throughout almost the entirety of the round. And as they come up off their feet, you can see it just a little bit in the face of Brokenshire of, oh man, what do I have to do here?
Yeah, and Brokenshire is in that spot where he's got to make something big happen. And I don't know where he does it, to be totally honest. You know, he hasn't been able to mount much of a ground game when he's on his back. Going back to the replays, we can kind of see some of this. Trying to shoot for those up kicks, but Gonzales is able to just kind of shuck those feet away and rain down some punches.
See if this is where he tries to set up the heel hook. And it is not.
No. Yep.
There we
Nope.
go.
Yep.
Now he spins for it.
Yep, up
Really
there, up.
quick job with the loop of the leg. Gonzales, though, right on top of it with his defense, spun with it, stepped over, and ended with a really nice position to finish the round with some good ground and pound.
Yeah, I agree. And I think right now, Brokenshire's best bet is to test Gonzalez's chin. He's got to touch him a little bit, see where that chin's at. I just don't see it progressing for him on the ground, especially
Agreed.
after 4 rounds.
Yeah, agreed. If it hasn't worked by now.
Let's go, baby. Get your hands moving.
Brokenshire looking to maybe push forward a little bit, throwing a few jabs, just kind of feel it out, looking up to load up the right hand, but Gonzales, a sneaky right uppercut, left hook.
There you go. Keep that
I think that's what I called him earlier, right?
I'm
Just a
thinking
little
you're right
sneaky.
there. Just a little
all
sneaky.
day long, baby.
Just a little sneaky.
And now with that last punch, Gonzales has opened up Brokenshire's nose a little bit, kind of pouring blood right now.
At the end of your
And
breath,
that's another issue. When you've got blood pouring out your nose like that, it impedes your breathing. Now it affects your cardio. So let's see kind of what Brokenshire has on tap.
on the outside. There you go.
Nice, good, fast jab by Gonzales.
Yeah, and Gonzales looking to work the range now. He's here in the 5th round. He's put in 20 minutes. He knows he can control it if it gets in close. Doesn't have any worries about that, so why not work from the outside a little bit?
Yep, and what you get told in that middle of that round, don't get caught. You've got 1 round left, 5 minutes. Don't do anything dumb. Don't do anything flashy.
Yep.
Finish the fight.
Don't take chances.
Pull him off your neck. Back out. There you go. There you go.
Brokenshire momentarily really nice work with the head control. Had Gonzales bent over. Sort of a dangerous position, but Gonzales, of course, being a lifelong wrestler, it's nothing he hasn't seen about 10,000 times in the gym. So
That might be underestimating it a little bit.
Last week, right?
Gonzales leaning back and just opening up a little bit, throwing some big hooks. Always looking to finish the fight, though, which is what makes him an exciting fighter as well. You know, it's, as much as we say don't take chances, that's what he wants to do. He
We
wants
like
to
the fact
highlight
that he
finish.
will. Yep. Could be frustrating for a coach. As a fan, thank you.
Yep. And he needs to be a little bit careful every time he puts his head down. We have seen Armin guillotines finished. One of them was tonight. You know, that's just a position you just don't risk it.
Right.
Keep your head up. Maintain control.
Foot stomp there for Gonzales, saying, hey, if you're going to have 1 foot off the cage, I know your other foot's not going anywhere. So
And I'm surprised that Brokenshire is as content as he is to sit in this spot. They're kind of looking over at his corner, and part of me wonders if he's just trying to figure out what else he can throw at Gonzales that he hasn't already.
Yeah, by this point, you're 23 minutes into the fight, you might just be feeling a little confounded and sort of, I've tried most of what it is that I know how to do, and like he said, looking to his corner for some help.
Yeah, and in a spot that he's not used to being in. Brokenshire, yeah, he's got 6 losses, but he's got 16 wins. He's fighting.
Right.
He's riding a long winning streak. Sometimes you get to that point where you just don't know what else to do.
A good job trying to pull the body and the head of Gonzales in for some knee strikes there, but just in a little bit too tight for those to have much of an effect.
About a minute and a half left in this 5th round. Yeah, but trying for that tie clinch just last-ditch effort.
Yeah, just to have something else to do, and again, fishing for that head control.
There you go. Smart move by J-Train. Just go ahead, let it go. Come back out to the center.
Minute left to work here. See if Gonzales is able to set up a throw.
And Brookenshire's punches are just coming a little bit slower. I have a feeling that blood coming out of his nose is affecting his wind a little bit. And just hard to come back after that.
Tough spot to be. Crowd starting to give us some chance of choo-choo.
30 seconds left in the fight.
Strikes on break.
And I'm always impressed by Justin Gonzales. We got 20 seconds left. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth if something weird happens here. But I've always been impressed with him, but I think this is the most well-rounded fight we've seen him in.
And every time that you see him, he looks more composed.
Yes.
And throughout the entirety of this fight, no matter the position, no matter the opponent's attempts, he looked very, very composed and as though he was exactly where he wanted to be the whole time.
Yeah, and that's just something that can't be overstated. Composure, if you can maintain it and not blow all of your energy in the first couple rounds, it makes it a lot easier on you in the later rounds. But I just can't overstate it enough. I am impressed with how well-rounded that fight was for Justin Gonzales. A thorough domination over a high-quality opponent.
Absolutely.
I can't stress that enough. Drew Brokenshire is a gamer at best. And to put on a performance like that is one that's going to be on his mind for a while. Looking back at the replay, just another one of the takedowns.
Grabbed that leg and just ran through him for the single. Yep. And any time that it hit the ground, Brokenshire just didn't have an answer for the hip positioning, the shoulder positioning, and the control of Gonzales. Gonzales always just where he wanted to be. Even when he was defending submissions, he was putting himself into a better position at the end of the defensive attempt.
Yep.
So we saw that when Brokenshire went for the heel hook, Gonzales ended up in side control, punching him in the head. So
still obviously waiting for the judge's decision, but I would be very surprised if I'm surprised at the end of this decision. However,
pretty academic at this point, yes indeed.
Yep.
Take it up to Sean Patrick. He'll give us the official word, not just what you and I think.
Garcia scores about 50-45. Judge Hilsebeck scores about 50-44. And Judge McAvoy scores about 50-45. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision. And still, Sparta Combat League 145-pound champion, Justin J. Train Gonzales.
Congratulations, Mr. Gonzales. Team
Back with the
Top-Notch
main
Team
event in
Trials
a moment.
MMA keeps his belt, gets to go home with the victory.
That's exciting. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you lending me your ear for the evening. We're going to hand it back to Bailey Winters and then Catherine Poprocki for our final fight of the evening. Have a good night.
I'm back here now with Justin J. Train Gonzales, who is now the undisputed Sparta Combat League Featherweight champ. How does it feel?
Nothing's changed. I was always the undisputed champ.
Tonight we saw the Washington Sparta Combat League champ versus the Colorado Sparta Combat League champ. It was a great fight, but you dominated every round. What did you do to prepare for this?
To be honest, that wasn't my best performance, not how I wanted the fight to go. Had a minor injury in the first round. Had to kind of fight a little bit different, but there's no excuses. You have to do what you got to do, man. He's tough. I ate him with some good shots, but he ate him and he kept coming. So much respect to my opponent, Drew. Thank you.
After the injury in that first round, where were you at mentally?
It is what it is, man. You know what it is. It's you got to keep fighting through it. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have to overcome adversities in life, and we do it in the gym. We mentally prepare. Things are gonna happen like that, and you just have to fight through them.
You are undefeated as an amateur, undefeated as a pro. There's a lot of talk about the UFC calling. What are you expecting next?
I got to get some stoppages. It is what it is, and there's no excuses. I think I could have. I had opportunities, but he's slick, man. He kept coming. I didn't want to get caught in something stupid. Didn't want to injure myself any further, so I just had to push through it. UFC, give me a shout. Bellator, what's up? Next year, that PFL tournament. I don't care. I just need my shot. That's it. I'll take care of the rest.
All right, and who do you have with you here tonight?
This is my little cousin JR. Say what's up.
What's up? All right, guys, let's hear that choo-choo one more time.
Can I say thank you to some sponsors?
Yeah. All right, who do you want to thank tonight?
I gotta say thank you to my coaches, Mike Senior, Coach Ryan, Coach Jared, Top Notch Sports Academy Trials, Team Taylor, Coach, I love you, thank you, I know you're out there. All my sponsors, Rocky Mountain Flagging, RNG Body Art, Black Label Apparel, Dynamic Mortgage. If I miss anybody, I'm so sorry. I got love for you guys.
Congratulations, great fight tonight, enjoy it.
Thank you.